Imagine this. You have a friend, your best friend, who you trust so much, but eventually betrayed you. You never saw it coming. She betrayed you by revealing your darkest, deepest secret that no one, including your husband, has no idea about. She exposed it to the entire world and also told your husband about it. What would you do in that situation? How would you feel? Peace be upon you, and it's your host Fadila. Welcome to the third episode of our one-of-a-kind Books and Coffee podcast. Wow, I can't believe how fast the days are passing by. It felt like it was just yesterday I posted the second episode. Anyways, how have you been? For me, it's been one long week. As usual, I hope you have your coffee with you. I have mine here, my love, the love of my life. On today's episode, I'll be reviewing this One in a Million book. Do you know what? I've read this book before, but I had to reread it because why not? The name of this book is Taken for Granted, written by Raheemah Odusote. Let me read out a brief about the author from behind the book. Raheemah Odusote is a trained engineer and a chartered accountant. However, her love and passion for reading and writing directs her to her dream job of becoming a book coach for clients worldwide. When she's not writing fiction about family, marriage, friendship, and love woven with Islamic ethos, you can find her painting, solving crossword puzzles, and taking personal development courses to continuously learn about herself, her Lord, her family, and the world. She also enjoys cuddling with an interesting book in a quiet room with a cup of steaming green tea in her leisure time. Raheemah presently lives in the capital city of Nigeria, Abuja. She's married with children. Please tell me, why wouldn't you want to read this book after hearing the name Taken for Granted? Like, the title is so catchy and simple. Do you know what attracted me to the book? Number one, as you've guessed, the title, and as usual, the cover, obviously. The cover is so beautiful. It has this turquoise, I don't know what color it is, Sha. One greenish bluish color on it. It's just so beautiful, and the font is legible. Everything is just simple yet unique and beautiful. And do you know what else I love about the cover? I have a copy of the book, a physical copy. I love the texture of the cover. It's like, what do they call this material? Matte or something. I don't know what material it is, but it's so thin. So the title and the cover attracted me to the book. The book was basically calling out my name, Fadila, Fadila, Fadila. Pick me up and read me again. So I obliged, because who am I to say no to such a pretty damsel? Let's dive right into the synopsis of the book. I'm so excited to be reviewing this book out loud. I don't know if that makes any sense. Anyways, let's begin. Socialite, wife and mother, Ameenah has everything a Muslimah could ever wish for. Beauty, brains, and a loving family. Everything is going well until she places her trust in the wrong person, and a catastrophic event threatens all that she holds dear. The only way to regain a fraction of what she's lost is to tow a path she's shunned her entire life. Taken for Granted is an emotionally gripping and suspense-filled novel that will leave you asking for more. I agree so much with that last sentence. The book is a mixture of emotions. It will leave you feeling different ways. No kidding. So basically, the book follows the life of the Muslim lady named Ameenah. She's Yoruba, obviously. The book explored the theme of, self-discovery, building and strengthening spiritual relationships and all. It first starts with the character being carefree, and then it progressively moved to tragedy befalling her, and then she realized her error and eventually decided, to ponder before embarking on her self-discovery journey. And do you know why I like this book? One of the things that makes me like this book, apart from the title and the cover, the fact that this book speaks on how most women or Muslims are in this era, in this time. And another thing I love about the book is that the characters in the book were not too much. There are some books you just read. If just reading the book alone, you'll be like, oh my god, wait, so and so, let me go back. I dislike that in passion. So I like the fact that there were not too much characters. We're going to start with the protagonist, Ameenah, the main Coco, the important woman in the book. So she's a kind of person, all these set and rich girls. She doesn't like being associated with low class people, so she's like the kind of person that is always with the latest accessory in town, always gets the latest blah 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 on the latest trip, all those things, luxury. She's that kind of person, and she's not a religious person. She believes that her efforts, everything she does, is by her own efforts. And she just believes, I opened this boutique, I'm getting and making sales, I'm making millions of naira. So yeah, it's by my own achievement, That's how she thinks. She must look, peng, as they say it. Abi, that's how they say it now. She must look peng. And her weakness, she has a weakness, which is her darkest secret. Like, for that secret to be revealed, it just crumble her. And then moving on to her husband, Suleiman Adegoke. This guy, his character was so calm. In reality, these people that usually calm, if you get them annoyed, they are the people that, like, if they flare up, they explode. Like, it's worse than people that have anger issues. Suleiman is this kind of person. He's like really calm. He's really loving. Imagine he brings gifts for his wife every time he comes back from office. Imagine that kind of husband. And like, he's so loving. He loves his kids. They have 2 kids. Amazing children, a boy and a girl, Aisha and Da'ud. When all these things started happening, the trials in their life started coming, he literally broke down. Like the Suleiman I knew was like, so always smiling, calm. But then after the accident incident with their children, he literally like just shut up. He wasn't smiling. He was immersing himself in work, drowning himself in so much of his duty. And then we have another character, Maimuna. Maimuna is a 30-year-old lady, Suleiman's younger sister, that still lives with them. At the beginning of the book, she seemed like an antagonist, but like her character eventually transformed as the story progressed. And yeah, you would find out why she's still living with her brother, with his wife and kids, while she's 30 years old when you get the book. She and Ameenah, they despise each other so much. And she always gets on Ameenah's nerves. At the beginning of the book, it actually started with both of them. Ameenah, like, she scrunched up her nose, like, because of her sister-in-law's rudeness, Maimuna's rudeness. And then we move on to another character, another amazing, beautiful character that deserves an Oscar award. Oscar is for acting, but okay, she's not acting. I don't know. She deserves an award. This character I'm talking about, her name is, I don't know if I pronounce it right, Asabe. Her name is Asabe or Ashabe. Anyhow, she's Ameenah's mother, and her character like depicted the love of a mother for her child so much. Like, she put her faith so much in Allah. Her go-to place was always dua and supplication. Like, her daughter Ameenah kept blaming her because they were from a poor background, and due to poverty they lost Ameenah's siblings and stuff because they didn't have money. And like, Ameenah was super rude to her parents. If her mother like calls, like, okay, how are you doing? Can I speak with my grandchildren and stuff? She would be like, no, I know it's the money we are calling for. Like, she just despised her. She kept blaming her that she was the cause, her and her father were the cause of her siblings' death. But despite that, to show you the love a mother has for her child, Asabe did not shun her child away or her daughter away. She knew that, yeah, I put my trust in Allah, He's going to bring her back to me, And then she's just so amazing. She deserves an award. Now the next character is Ameenah. This one, she's supposed to be given that award because she's such an amazing therapist. She made Ameenah and my perspective change. Like, at first, when the accident of their kids happened, I blamed Ameenah because her husband Suleiman actually told her to drop off the kids at school. But no, she wanted to go out to hang out with her friend and discuss her matter with her friend. So, guess what she did? She decided to put her kids in an Uber with the help to take them to school. Well, at first, I blamed her, but like, when I went further into the story and when she went to the therapist, and then she was also blaming herself, and then Ameenah asked questions. I was like, oh, this therapist was making sense, So she deserves that award. Now, the character. Did you see the way my voice changed? The character that I despise. Do you know the feeling that sometimes you want to enter a book to go and beat one of the characters or slap sense into some characters? This girl, this woman, she's a devil in disguise. Her name is Jamila. She's a single mother. She's so evil. She's Ameenah's so-called best friend who backstabbed her. Like, she is so jealous of Ameenah. Those kind of friends that your parents tell you to stay away from. This girl, this Jamila, that's what she is. She's those friends. Imagine how jealous you can be to say such a thing to your friend. Just imagine what she said to her friend. Just imagine your friend saying this to you. What you deserve is to become a single woman like me. How can I stand your happiness when I am lonely being on my own? What's your heart made of? Stone? Like, Jamila's betrayal really opened up Ameenah's eyes. Before, Suleiman didn't even like Jamila. He kept telling Ameenah, leave this woman alone. But Ameenah is like, you're over-exaggerating. But then, when her eyes saw Shege, she was now like, my husband was right all along ago. That woman is so evil. Like with this kind of thing, you'd see all the red flags waving in your front, but you keep shunning them away. That was what Ameenah was doing with Jamila. Imagine you come to your friend's boutique, like she just opened the boutique, and you go there and then she's talking to a group of people, and then you're waving at her, and she's ignoring you and stopping. You people even make eye contact, or you walk up to her, she's now like she does not know you. Like this Jamila, she's not even a frenemy, she's straight up enemy. There's nothing you see. She's an enemy, and like, I hope she grows up. She's so annoying. She's one of the characters like that I dislike so much. Devil in disguise. And then last but not least, we have Aisha and Da'ud, Ameenah and Suleiman's children. And then the book is written in third person's point of view, which I love. I prefer reading in first person point of view, but like the message the book was conveying, third person's point of view actually fitted so much. So yeah, I love that. The author, Raheemah, she picked out the problems like we face in society and like brought forth solution to them. The pacing of the book really maintained my interest, and it kept me focused. I didn't get distracted. I just kept flipping page. It's a page turner. But while reading, I wanted to see a little bit of Maimuna's life. Okay, she's going to office. Where does she work? I don't like Ameboda. I just wanted to see a bit of Maimuna's life as well. And the author's writing is really good. One notable strength in the author's writing, she's really good at writing about tawakkul, perseverance. Some of my standout moments was the mortuary scene. Oh my god, that scene still gives me goosebumps. I'm going to read out that scene. And the other scene that stood out for me was when Ameenah was in her kids' room. It was so heartbreaking. It sends chills down my spine. Let me read out those parts. Listen to this carefully. The mortuary was the last place she wanted to be, but she needed to confirm with her own eyes that her children weren't in the cold building, that all the scenes unraveling were part of a nasty joke. Her heartbeat raced as a weight seemed to press on her chest. She moved closer to her husband, who folded his hands across his chest. The attendant turned into a room and beckoned them inside. "These are the bodies," the man said, pointing to two mortuary trolleys pulled to the corner of the room. Rows of big cabinets occupied the room. The attendants pushed close one drawer that had a body covered in a white sheet in it to allow them to have a full view of the trolleys covered with sheets, showing the contours of the body under them. The attendant stood by the door. Ameenah looked at Suleiman's profile beside her and saw sweat form on his forehead and upper lips. His left hand trembled beside him now as he flexed his fingers as though willing them to stop their twitching. When Suleiman moved forward to the trolleys, Ameenah followed with dragging footsteps. Her throat felt tight. Swallowing was difficult. Are these my children's body under those sheets? Taking in a deep breath, Suleiman raised his left hand to pull back the sheet from the trolley closer to him. The couple sucked in their breaths and gasped at the same time. That is the mortuary scene. That is the mortuary scene. Now I'm going to read out the part where Ameenah was in her kids' room after the accident. It was super heartbreaking. She smoothed the bed cover beside her as though getting the bed ready to be slept in, and turned her head to look around the room, taking in items one after the other. Suleiman's shirt hung on a reading chair, with a pair of his patent leather shoes occupying the space under the chair. Aisha's giant teddy bear sat on the nightstand beside the bed with other dolls she adored. They all looked as though they were awaiting their owner's return. That last sentence broke me. Oh my god, it's just so heartbreaking. And then I really felt for Ameenah. There were parts where she would hear her kids laughing. Oh my god, I feel like crying. There were parts where she would hear her kids laughing, and then she would like have a smile on her face, and then she would turn, and then she would turn to an empty space. She'd just be like, oh yeah, I'm hallucinating again, you know. It's so heartbreaking. A memorable quote from the book was this verse from Surah Az-Zumar, verse 53. So it says this is the translation. Say, O my servants who have transgressed against themselves by sinning, do not despair in the mercy of Allah. Indeed, Allah forgives all sin. Indeed, it is He who is the forgiving, the merciful. As humans, at first we doubt that we can be forgiven because of how massive our sins are. But yes, see, Allah is telling you He's Ghafur, He's Rahim, He's the most forgiving, the most merciful. So who are we to say we will not ask for forgiveness because our sins are too big? And it was just, you know, so good and amazing and heartwarming to see Ameenah transform. But like, there was another sin that really got me upset. It made me also that feeling of entering the book to slap one of the characters. But this time it wasn't Jamila I wanted to slap, it was Suleiman. So after everything about the children, after the secret exposing, and then she was begging him so much. Like, I cried in that scene. I was like, Suleiman, she's your wife, bro. She's your wife, bro. She was literally on the floor begging him. He wanted to go up the stairs, and then she literally, I'm still envisioning it in my head. Like, that scene, I imagined it so well. It made me want to slap him so bad. She held his leg and she was pleading and begging, and he was like, he shrugged his leg off her, and I was like, oh my god, you didn't just do that. Another thing that made me want to slap him was the scene when she told him that, oh yeah, I'm going to see my therapist tomorrow, and he was like, well, why are you telling me do whatever you want? It's none of my business. I was like, how rude. That was super rude. And the ending of the book, I did not see that ending coming. Everybody got distracted by everything that was in the book. I don't think any reader saw that end coming. Maybe a few people that might have predicted that, okay, yeah, so and so is going to happen at the end. But personally, I didn't see it coming. This book is really, really good. If you are looking for a clean halal novel about tawakkul and a soul-lifting book, this book is your go-to. And you will thank me later. I'm serious, you will thank me later. No kidding, you will thank me later. The book obviously made me cry. Or am I too emotional? That part when she held his leg on the stairs is still in my head. And like, I've read this book before, so obviously I knew what was coming, what I was supposed to be expecting. But no, I still cried. And the book made me think about my spiritual relationship and my relationship with my family. Towards the ending of the book, Ameenah, you know, after everything she had gone through, the betrayal, the death of her kids, and other trials, which I'm not going to say, get the book to find out those things. She eventually, you know, realized all she had been doing all her lives were just bad, and she felt, you know, so bad about her relationship with her parents and how she mistreated them. And yeah, and it made me also think of the kind of friends I associate with. Long time ago, I already filtered a lot of people from my life because it had to happen. This book resonated with me so well. It made me become more aware of Allah's rahmah and mercy. It's a good read, and I really enjoyed myself while reading it. Based on my assessment, I will be rating this book, Taken for Granted, 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I really recommend it. Thank you so much for tuning in. That brings us to the end of this episode. One sip of coffee. That was nice. That was a gulp. Have you read this book, Taken for Granted? I would really love to hear your thoughts on the book. Don't forget to interact with the poll below and also follow our show and Instagram page. See you next week, inshallah. Same day, same time. Assalamu alaikum.